So I was looking at some comments saying that physical DPS isn't good for Zhongli, and my initial thoughts of him was that he seems underwhelming in terms of damage. But I also said that I will be doing more testing before reaching a finalized conclusion, which is why I'm making this video to show you the comparison between him and my best main character, which is my Electro Keqing. So before going into the test runs, first I'll establish my conditions, and the first condition would be to have similar stats between my Electro Keqing and my Zhongli. And because my Keqing is still too powerful for him, I will make up for the remaining stats with one food buff only, but no potions or whatever else. Also, because I don't have the Bloodstained Chivalry 2-piece, which means that I am lacking 25% physical damage, and I'm also lacking the Gladiator 4-piece bonus set for Zhongli because I just don't have the pieces, I will be using the Geo Resonance for Zhongli to make up for this damage bonus, and just so you know, the Geo Resonance is only 15% extra damage when shielded. So my Crescent Pike is at rank 4 currently, and this is still fair because you can technically forge it, and even if you can't get it to rank 4 or 5 now, you can eventually get it to rank 5, so it's not exactly unrealistic. Secondly, my target is going to be a level 90 child from the domain, because this is slightly more realistic than fighting a training dummy. I will only be doing his first phase because he takes reduced Electro damage in phase 2 and 3, which would be unfair for Keqing. How the comparison is going to be done is that I'll take down the timings of each run, and of course I'll do multiple runs of Zhongli to show the consistency of such timings, to prove that I didn't just take my best run for this video. And as for the last condition, my main focus for each character during the fight itself will be to just proc Superconduct for Zhongli and the Viridescent 4-piece for Keqing to make this somewhat even. I will also not be using their burst for this comparison. So before I start the run, I'm going to pop some food, and I'm going to pop the Jade Parcels here to offset the differences in their stats. So right now he has 2.1k attack, and he also has about 55.1% crit rate and 141% crit damage. And as for my Keqing, she has 2.2k attack, about 53% crit rate and 145% crit damage. So that's pretty much the same as my Zhongli. So in this first Zhongli run, I will be trying to proc Superconduct on him, and I'll basically try to kill him as fast as I can. So that's 21 seconds before he turned invulnerable, before going into his phase 2, and now let's do a run of Keqing next. So for my Keqing run, she took 20 seconds and she also kind of died at the end, but you know, that's reasonable because she doesn't have a shield, I guess. And I also just wanted to end it as soon as I can. This is my second Zhongli run, and I'll basically do the same thing as I did and you know, just try to kill him as fast as I can. So I'm basically playing in autopilot mode, and I'm not really trying to grind for, you know, Charles' attack sequences. So right there, that was like 22 seconds, which is just 1 second slower than my first run. And so now we'll go into the third run. So that was about 23 seconds, and you know, overall I think it's not too bad considering that I didn't really play that well in that last run. So in conclusion, he does do pretty good damage on physical, and you will still want to bring him into places where physical damage is better than elemental damage. The thing is, some people only look at big crits or like the biggest number that a character can hit, and of course that's not going to be realistic because you're supposed to look at their damage per second. Showcases with huge crits are mostly just for entertainment, and I myself have done a showcase with my Electro Keqing with like, you know, 35k crits, but I don't usually get to do that on Spiral Abyss if I'm seriously trying to clear it, because those videos require like all 3 other characters to buff this character's damage. I also just want to say that before you rule out a certain character or build, you might want to have some patience first, because I had the same impression of Child when he was released like a month back, but after fixing his issues, which I have a video on it by the way, he basically carries me with like 9 stars on both floors 10 and 11 of the Spiral Abyss, and what I'm trying to say is that every character has their pros and cons, and it mostly depends on the situation. And lastly, what I meant when I said that Zhongli is better than Razor is that his utility of his shield and his AoE petrification is just much better than Razor. Sure, Razor might or might not do more damage than a physical DPS Zhongli, like against the training dummy, which is, basically the Regisvine bosses, but Zhongli's kit is going to give you an easier time in the Spiral Abyss, and I'm also not saying that you can't get 9 stars with a physical Razor. Anyway, that's it for this video, and do hit the like and subscribe if you find yourself watching these videos.